Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Juicebox Racing League race number 7 of Season 2 here tonight at Darlington for the Southern 115. It should be one interesting race here tonight as we have a certain driver who's on a 3-race winning streak. So we'll see if anybody can knock him off of his high horse here tonight. I am, of course, CJ the Racer, joined tonight for the first time with a guest commentator. We have Hank in the booth tonight. How are you doing, Hank?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really nice. Obviously, you've gotten a chance to watch all these last 6 races that we've had so far this season. We've had a different bunch of winners for the first half of the regular season, but over the last 3 weeks, John Whitendorf has dominated this entire field, basically. What have you been able to gather so far going into tonight? You know, anybody that kind of piques your interest that you think might have a chance to do well tonight? Anybody other than John Whitendorf that might be able to get the win?
There's fast guys all the way through there. John, I believe, sitting on top of the board. Tyler Barnett's been fast. Logan Monteith's been fast. So I think either of those guys, Anthony Guarneri's also shown speed. So anyone can contend here. That wall will get you. So as long as they stay out of the wall and keep clean, anyone's got a shot.
Exactly, yeah. So quick take a look at all the stuff for tonight's race. Everything basically the same as we've seen for the last how many races. 78 degrees here tonight, partly cloudy here at Darlington. It should be one hell of a race for sure. Obviously, everybody is super excited because we're getting closer and closer to the chase, and so that chase cutoff line is getting really, really tight coming into these last couple races. So, and Darlington is definitely not any easy track at all. It is going to be tough. You're always right next to the wall, and even the slightest little bit of a mistake can really cost you a ton of time on track and possibly even cost you the entire race. So let's go ahead as drivers get warmed up and ready for the race tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid. So here's a look at tonight's starting lineup. No surprise, John Whitendorf starting on pole for a lap of 29.793, a great lap for him. I believe this is his second pole of the season so far. Colton starting P2 there in that number 1 car. Very interesting front row. Both those guys are going to be looking to try and make the chase this season. Third on back with Hank Steinmiller now in the 10 car this week alongside Jake Hounshell. Cooper Johnson alongside Logan Monteith in the 99 in 5th and 6th. Anthony Guarneri alongside Jason Hounshell, another one of those guys. Both those guys looking to try and get themselves into the chase. Tyler Burnett alongside Jose Medina to round out the top 10. Brett Stevens alongside James Goshen in P11 and P12. Farther down the line, we have Nick Serra from the 523 starting P13, Andre Guerrera in P14. James Roth is the first driver to not take a time here. He will be starting 15th. And 15th on back, we have a brand newcomer, Brandon McLaughlin, Bo Caro, Josh Silva, Casey Shepard, and Dade Grajewski rounds out the 20-car field here tonight. So as guys get their cars fired up here tonight for 115 laps here at Darlington Raceway. We'll go ahead and wait for the pace car to get rolling, and we'll get to the green flag. So as the cars get rolling here, we'll be taking the green here this time by. The pace car's lights are out. John Whitendorf will have control of the field once they go green. Definitely a very interesting crowd. Some new paint schemes, obviously, as we take the Xfinity car here tonight at Darlington. We'll have to kind of keep an eye out and see if we do notice any throwback schemes throughout the field here tonight. Pace car makes the hard left-hand turn down pit road. The field is in John Whitendorf's hands. The man has won 3 races the past 3 weeks. Can he make it 4 in a row here tonight? Green flag is out, and we're racing here at Darlington. Up high. Oh, and Colton is extremely loose there. Off of 2. Into the wall hard is that 1 car. Tough start for Colton there. Usually pretty quiet here in the first lap, but man, he got so loose off of 2. Barely caught that outside wall. Man, he started P2. Extremely disappointing that he fell that far back. But no
yeah, he's got that right rear crunched up a little bit there too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Doesn't seem like he's too far off in speed right now. At least at the moment, he got by Dade Krajewski there. He's already kind of catching up to James Goshen and Josh Silver pretty quickly. But we'll have to keep an eye on it and see if he can make up any time, but doesn't look like he got into anybody else. Everybody else was able to get by him pretty cleanly here. But John Whitendorf already gotten himself a pretty good jump on Hank Steinmiller there in P2. Cooper Johnson P3 right now, and Jake Hounshell, somebody who really needs a good run this week to try and get himself back in contention for the chase. I mean, Jake had high expectations for himself, and I think a lot of people had high expectations for Jake himself as well going into this season.
He's got the speed. The results just haven't been there for him.
Yeah.
Tough luck. It's also a tough racetrack to get back and make up some points here too. Got to be very, very careful with your car.
Very careful, very impatient for sure. A couple of yellow cars back here. The 16 of Anthony Guarneri. That 99 of Logan Monteith.
We'll throw back to Michael Waltrip there. Looks
Yeah.
like the Pennzoil car.
All three of these cars are really cool looking cars. There's that Taco Bell car of Tyler Barnett.
They're all three teammates. Must have planned this one.
Yeah. Sim helper drivers. All these guys trying to be successful and trying to make it in the chase. Logan is the best out of all three of these guys right now in the chase contending. He is coming into this race after he took the green flag. He is officially locked into the chase now. So he doesn't have to worry about missing that 8-driver chase here in a couple of weeks. But Anthony Guarneri is quite a bit back. He still has a shot to try and make it, but he still needs to keep himself up front here today if he's going to be able to try and point his way in next week. And Tyler Barnett...
Another thing, sorry,
No.
Cooper, but another thing Logan's looking for is that regular season title. He's, I believe, 2 or 3 points coming into tonight out of the points league.
Exactly. I was going to say, Tyler Burnett is just a little bit too far back in points. I'm not sure if he'll be able to make it to the chase, but he can always have himself a great run here tonight and continue to show that Sim Helper is having themselves a great season. A little bit farther back, Jason Hounshell, Jake's brother in that 00 car, has had himself a great season so far. He's currently running P8 at the moment, right ahead of Jose Medina in that 24.
Always with the best schemes there, Jose.
Yeah. Personally, I'm not a fan of sliding that number as far back as he did, but the scheme still does look very, very good. Brett Stevens right behind Jose here. That's P10 that the 86 is in. Now, Brett's missed a lot of races this season. Obviously, personal reasons are the reason for that. Not everybody can race, every single week during the week. Everybody has lives, but when Brett has shown up, he's done exactly what he needs to do. Be extremely patient and be able to find his way up towards the front by the end of the races. So, although he's P10...
Yeah, if you follow him, you'll usually finish 3rd or 4th.
Oh, yeah. Although he's P10, it always kind of seems like to be something that he always seems to do is slowly find his way up towards the front. Here's Andre Guerrero in that 18. He's currently P11. Right now, just taking his time. Not sure if there's a little bit of right front damage there near that right front tire. Looks like it's a little bit bent in, like he may have just kissed the wall, but still holding strong right now.
Looks like he just got it there. Another thing I've noticed already, the lap fall-offs, lap times there.
Oh, yeah.
10 laps in, and they're almost a second slower.
Exactly. A little bit of a blink from Andre there. Back up front to P3, there's Cooper Johnson, the 14 car. A little bit of a different look for him this week. As we got a battle here brewing for 4th. That's Anthony Guarneri on the inside of Jake Hounshell now. That's the thing about this track, is it's so tight. You cannot really spend too much time side by side, especially in these corners here. And Jake was probably smart and backed off there. which allowed Logan to pick up
Looked like this
P5.
car got a little push. I'm not sure how much he wanted to back off that or if he was pushing towards the wall coming off that corner. It's very, very hard to make that pass on the bottom, especially off of turn 4.
Yeah, exactly. See how just close they get to that wall. Looks like that's Dade Grajewski who comes down pit road here. Not sure if that's a scheduled stop, but maybe having
See
some issues.
drivers get up there and kiss that wall too. I'm wondering if that's what Dade did.
Yeah. He may have took it behind the garage there after he may have had contact with the wall. Oh, looked like the 26 almost had contact in the wall himself there as he goes for a pass on the 02 of Jake Hounshell. So we'll have to keep an eye on this 02 here because he's dropped a couple of spots here. I'm not sure if he's saving tires or if he just isn't as fast as these guys, but definitely be something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Further up front, though, John Whitendorf is checking out.
Yeah, you can kind of see the gap there.
Yeah, he's running about a tenth of a second quicker than everyone else on track there. One car I'm noticing that's fast right now is the 26 of Barnett, but track position's kind of keeping him where he's at.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Tyler Barnett. It kind of seems like maybe he's being a little bit nice to his teammates here in front of him. He's just been kind of following it along, kind of letting them do all the hard work here of staying in front of him, just kind of following their line and kind of learning from them a little bit. I'll have to see if that 26 does try to make some passes here. Everyone's still pretty spread out at the moment. Already, as we mentioned earlier, John Whitendorf opened up in a giant lead. He's almost a 2-second lead on Hank Steinmiller here.
Yeah, he's ballooned that almost a full second in the last, probably about 7 or 8 laps.
Yeah, that's the thing about this 33. It's almost like it's going to take something catastrophic to happen to this 33 in order to kind of stop him from winning races. We mentioned earlier on, obviously, he's won the last 3 races, the last 3 weeks. Some of them in dominating fashion, some of them with the right calls and strategy and such, but tonight might be one of those.
Some may say.
Yeah, exactly. Tonight, though, John might do it in a dominating fashion, but this is still extremely early. We're only 17 laps into this thing, so we still got a long ways to go. Right in front of him, that's James Roth. You know, we haven't seen James Roth much around this season. He's been pretty busy himself, hasn't been able to make too many races, and it's good to see that 4 car back on track as the 523 Nick Serif slow here on the backstretch. Not sure, he may be coming to pit road.
He might have missed the pit the first time around there.
Oh, I believe the 4 car got contact there. We heard some contact in turns 3 and 4. The 4 car may have gotten the wall there. Looks like he busted up his right rear there.
John, a little crinkle on the right rear there.
Yeah. But already 18 laps down. We're on lap 19 now, and John is already putting guys a lap down, so an interesting battle possibly brewing here between the 14 and the 63. The 14 is caught up to the 63 here. Oh, man, that 63
is way out of shape.
Yeah, he is sideways off these corners. He might be pretty loose right now. See if we can get on board with this 63 here. I can find the right camera. There we go.
Damage there already.
Yeah, we saw some damage on that right side here, but kind of get to follow along and watch. See, he's really cranking that wheel to the right. I mean, you do still want to kind of crank the wheel a little bit to the right, considering, you know, as the 14 goes on by here, dives it in there in 1. 63 possibly trying to come back, but not able to stay with him right now. So it kind of does seem like that 63 is fighting the wheel quite a bit right now at the moment, but as you mentioned, Hank, he may have caught in the wall as the 4 car catches the wall there again, trying to get or let the lead lap cars by. A little bit of a gap now between the 16 and the 99. We saw the sim helper guys were all bunched up together. They have now kind of separated themselves. Tyler Burnett
Yeah,
is
I'm not
actually
sure if
falling back a bit.
Tyler get the wall or if his tires ran out.
That is something that is extremely tough to do here, is saving the tires but also keeping the speed in your car. It's not something that's easy to do. It seems like John is right now the best at it.
Tyler looks like his car is clean. His tires must be gone on that, as we see from the 63. Tires go quickly.
Yeah. There's so many things that you got to worry about coming in here. It's saving your tires, trying to have speed, and then also trying to keep speed coming off the corners and not hitting the wall, getting as close as the wall as you can through the corners. Like turn 3 and 4 is so important. Being able to get through there very quickly and efficiently. Get as close to the wall as you can. We know that that is the fast line. It's not something easy to do, and these guys do it extremely well.
It's not easy, and it's a lot of pedal play there. You got to be off throttle, rolling the car for much longer than these guys are used to or want to.
Yeah. Here's the 79. That's a newcomer here.
Casey Shepard.
Yep. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the left side of his car. Don't usually see that too often. He does have
usually contact from another car.
Yeah. Still holding on to it pretty well. He is the first car lap down right now, as I say that. The 81 gets put a lap down, so now he is the first car lap down. So if there were a caution to come out, he would be the lucky dog at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Hounshaw had a little bit of a mechanical issue per se. Internet. Puts him 8 laps down.
Yeah.
Not sure if he's rejoined yet or not. 81 in the wall.
Yeah. I also saw this 18 of Andre Guerrero in the wall as well, as now he's the first car lap down. John is ticking these guys off, as now here comes John up to James Goshen. Looks like our first official retiree is Dade Grajewski. He is going to be out of the race. Disappointing into the race here for him. As John goes by James Goshen here.
Good to see James running good right there. I don't think he was very thrilled about coming to this track, but tough track, and he's kept the fenders on it thus far.
He's done an amazing job. You know, that's another person who we have not mentioned yet. He is in the vibe for the chase. He is one of the top 8 drivers right now in the chase coming into tonight. So this P12, although he is a lap down, he's running P12. So, I mean, he's, at the moment, the next person is Bo Caro. So there's quite a bit of distance between Bo and John Whitendorf. So, again, if there were to be a caution that comes out now, it would be James Goshen that now would get the lucky dog, and that would definitely help him out.
Yeah, and James probably has about, or John's probably got about 3 or 4 seconds before he catches Bo. So, I'd say James got a solid, I don't know, 7 to 10 laps there to sit in that position before Bo gets put a lap down.
Exactly. You know, we've been kind of talking about some other people. Let's go ahead and mention the fact that John has won the last 3 races. He's done it in dominating fashion in some cases. I think this is the most impressive one so far. He is now in 30 laps opened up a lead to second place of almost 5 seconds. That has nothing to do with pit stops. That has nothing to do with anything. We've been green flags since we've started this race, and he's already opened up a 5-second lead on second place.
5 seconds and almost has half the field a lap down.
Exactly. Let's see if we can go on board with John Whitendorf and see how smooth he is on the...
Yeah, we saw the hands of the 63 earlier coming out of 3 and 4. Let's see how much smoother it looks from the guy that's leading by almost 6 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So he's kind of it's barely kind of fighting that looseness just a little bit as he goes by Bo Caro extremely quickly. Starting to see some guys hit pit road here, but this 33, I mean, just extremely smooth. Just a little bit of a hiccup there off two, but you know, we just
Left 3 and 4, he was passing a car. Let's see if he takes the same line or if his normal line has as much play in it. Much more comfortable.
yeah, it's so smooth. I mean, the comparison between the 33 and the 63, as you mentioned, that 63 super loose off of 4 there. This 33 barely even fighting the wheel, even a little bit coming off of 4. That's Colton in the 1 car ahead of him. He had the contact in the outside wall in that first lap. You know, we mentioned a little bit ago that John Whitendorf opened up a 5-second lead over second place. Yeah, that lead is now just about 6 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And that was only about 3 laps ago. As Colton pulls off to the side for John. I mean, this is just... The 33 has been dominating this race so far, for sure.
He has. And then further back in the field, I'm watching Brett Stevens starting to make his way through the field. The 63's in a slide right now.
Yeah. Almost had a little bit of trouble there coming off of 2, but this 63, I mean, we talked about the 63 being loose coming off the corners here. It might start to really hurt him now. I mean, we're 35 laps into this, and now Anthony Guarneri makes the pass for P3, and now Logan Monteith for P4. I mean, we are starting to see some guys pit road. It'll be interesting to see when they choose to come down pit road. Because the fuel mileage, you can technically go about 85 to 95 laps on a tank of fuel, but you're not going to go that far in a set of tires. That's not the smartest plan. Once those lead lap guys start to come down, it's a close call there with the 79 and the 16, it looked like.
Oh, yeah. 16 lit up. It looked like he was sliding up there.
Yeah.
79 fighting hard here.
Yep. It's another one of those challenges because, you know, you can't really be 3 wide here at this track. It's not a wide track. It's extremely, extremely tight, especially in the corners. You have to really generate a huge run down the front and the back stretch there coming off the corners. Try and get a pass. There is the 79. Gets in the wall right in front of Logan. He's obviously not going to like that, as now he's starting to see his teammate drive away from him.
No, not at all. Logan's got to be very frustrated with this.
Yeah, he really dove it in there.
In the wall again.
That allows Hank Steinmiller to at least get by the 79 and let these lead lap guys get by. We saw Logan really diving in there on turn 1. And, you know, you mentioned Brett Stevens. He's already up to P6 now. He's had himself a great run. Kind of seems like he's starting to run down this tennis tank Steinmiller and the 99 and some of these other guys, so...
He is running them down, and he is keeping pace with the leader, John Whitendorf, there, who has now opened up a 7-second lead.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like the caution may be out.
I believe the caution is out now. Not sure what it is for. As the pace car comes off here. Let's see if we can try and find out what happened here. So we're on board with Andre Guerrera here. Coming off of 2, gets really loose. Tries to fight the wheel. Overcorrects.
Yep. Overcorrection.
Facing the wrong way, that'll definitely bring out a caution. And as we've seen, this isn't something new within these drivers. These guys are loose coming off the corners because, you know, you're trying to get as much gas as you can. You're trying, you know, you got to really get a huge momentum coming off the corners, and so extremely difficult for these guys to keep it straight.
Yeah, the on top of that, the not elevation, but the banking change there from the driving line to the, I guess what some would call the apron. It'll turn that car. If you hit it right, it looks like he got in one of those spots that helped him turn more left than he wanted to.
Exactly, yeah. So, as the lead lap guys coming down pit road this time by, obviously all the lead lap cars will come down for tires. There's Cooper Johnson, the 14. Anthony Guarneri in the 16. We got to see John Weitendorf, as you can see there in that 33, has just a huge gap to the rest of the guys, so he should be able to beat these guys off pit road pretty easily. There's a 63.
It's like he ever shot his pit box.
A little bit. There goes the 33. He'll go ahead and win the race off pit road here. Second and third is also still the same. Fourth still the same. Brett Stevens will beat Hank Steinmiller off pit road. Tyler Barnett. There's that 24. And this Hank Steinmiller and Jake Hounshaw are both still sitting on pit road. You have to obviously venture a guess that they're getting some damage fixed here.
Yeah, it looks like they both got the wall at some point.
Yep. So as the lap cars come down this time by, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with some more green flag action here at Darlington. Welcome back to Darlington here for the Juicebox Racing League Season 2, race number 7 here at Darlington. We're only a couple laps, or not a couple laps, we're about 40-some laps into this thing as the caution came out after Andre Guerrera spun it off of 2. John Weitendorf has dominated this whole thing, led every single lap so far up to this point. As we re-rack him back up, John Weitendorf launches. Here we go again. Green flag racing at Darlington once more. Side-by-side battle here. Teammates almost looked like the 16 got pretty loose there in the middle of 1 and 2. That top side Logan
It's
should have the advantage.
Impressive they did not wreck that.
Yeah, great save by Anthony Guarneri there in that 16.
It's almost impossible to come off of turn 2. Double or too wide there.
Those two giving each other enough room. Understand their teammates don't want to take each other out here. You know, we talked about, I've been talking about Logan all season long, and the fact that he's been so close so many times to winning races. This 99 car has had such a great season. And, you know, you mentioned that he's been so consistent, and then he's on the verge of possibly winning the regular season championship here. But this 99, I think he understands, hey, the points are great and all, but I want to win some races. Like, he was so close at Eldora earlier this year, and then Colton took it from him. He was close at Vegas, I believe, earlier this year, and John Weitendorf beat him there. I mean, the guy has been so close so many times. And now here he is, running up towards the front, top 3 yet again. Not sure if he'll be able to beat John Weitendorf yet again, but then again, I'm not sure anybody can, as he's already opened up a second lead here, just a couple laps into this run.
Yeah, John's got the line worked out right now, and for sure Logan wants to win, but the point system this year really benefits consistency, and he has been the most consistent driver week in and week out.
Yeah. Close battle here, possibly brewing. Mentioned Brett Stevens earlier on in the race. He started way farther back in the pack that I think he wanted to, but then again, this is his MO. Just slowly, methodically work his way through the field up to P5 right now. He's got Tyler Barnett closing in on him.
Tyler's got that speed early in these runs. It doesn't look like that car's got the long run speed, though.
Be interesting to see if he's able to learn from his mistakes from the first run and whether he made some adjustments or is able to save his tires a little bit better on this run. We'll see what he can do. Slow car there. There's Jason Hounshaw in that 00. He's finally back. He is 14 laps down, so he's obviously out here to just try and gain as much points as he can. He's another one of those guys where he did not need this run today. He's not locked into the chase. He is currently in the chase at the moment, but having runs like this, currently P19, is obviously not going to help his case at all. Interesting thing to point out here, you know, we talked about Hank Steinmiller. He was running P2 earlier on, extremely loose car he has, but he's currently running P10. He's the first car on the lead, or the last car on the lead lap, excuse me. P10 right now, so obviously keep an eye on the 63 if he's able to try and save his tires a little bit better here himself, and maybe he can try and get past some of these other guys ahead of him. I'm going to find this one car. There he
Saving
is.
tires and saving car. And
Exactly.
there's an example of saving car there with Cole.
Yeah. Looks like Colton took his fast repair on that last caution, so... Oh, and that is not a pretty car that James Roth has in that 4 car. No front end at all.
He got a bit loose off of 4 that last a few laps ago and buried it into the inside wall.
Oof. Tough showing from the 4 car today. Obviously, a little bit rusty considering the fact he hasn't been around the last couple weeks, but nonetheless, still good to see James Roth back. But little battle here brewing. This is for P8 between Jose Medina and Colton. J Council right ahead of them as well. I think Colton... Oh, as Jose gets the wall! He's still on the wall. No caution. He keeps it straight. But that definitely is going to really hurt Jose. It looked like he may have just overshot turn 1 there and just really got the wall a little bit harder than I think he wanted to.
It's a tough one to get that high entry. I don't know if he even overshot it or if he just... If he don't dive it towards the banking change there, that thing just pushes to the wall.
Yeah.
Good job not to wreck everyone.
Extremely good job, yeah. It'll be interesting. I wanted to mention Colton because obviously he made that mistake lap 1, turn 2. Extremely disappointing. And obviously not the way he wanted to start the race. I mean, hell, he qualified P2. So he has a fast car, but when you start off your race that way, really burying yourself hard on the wall, losing a ton of time, it's not easy to try and crawl yourself back out of that hole. But Colton has been extremely consistent all season long, and so he's somebody I want to really keep an eye on here. He's currently P8, as he was able to make that pass on Jose Medina. We'll see if he's able to kind of run down some of these guys ahead of him.
Yeah, let's see what kind of recovery effort he can put together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looks like we have our second retiree of the night, too, there with the 81 car.
Yeah. Kind of saw him getting in the wall a couple of times there, but being his first race with us, we'll expect, hopefully, get to see him a little bit more. Now, this is a difficult track. Obviously, he's not the only one who's hit the wall. We saw Dave Grajewski. He's out of the race. We've seen multiple guys get the wall on multiple different occasions. I don't think anybody's going to come out of here without a Darlington stripe. Because the combination... Yeah, the combination of these cars, too, is extremely difficult. These things are not easy to drive. You have to actually drive them. It's not the trucks. It's not, the Gen 6 Cup cars. You have to really kind of work the wheel, work the throttle to be able to get through these corners.
This particular track is a lot of throttle control. You can slide it around with the throttle. You can also push it to the wall with the throttle.
Mm-hmm. 63 able to make the pass on Jose Medina in the 24. That gives Hank Steinmiller P9 now. I don't want to say that Shepard's out of it because he's definitely not. He is the first car lap down, although that car is pretty beaten up. He's obviously still got a fast repair sitting on pit road. But if there were to be a caution that come out right now, he would get his lap back and most likely would come down and get that fast repair and see if he can make up a couple more spots.
Yeah, right now all he's got to do is race the racetrack, which is it's one of those tracks where you're racing the racetrack before your competitors, and that's sometimes hard to remember.
Extremely hard as Bo Carroll tries to get on pit road. He has no front end like James Roth we saw earlier on. At 42, I think he may have retired it from the race there.
Yeah, that's our third one tonight. That was an even better job to not do it again.
Yeah.
Looked like he already did it once.
I really thought he was going to bury it in there. He started really sliding as he tried to get on pit road. And that's another thing here is we are going to see some green flag stops. If we go caution free for the rest of the race, we will see some green flag stops. And that'll be something to keep an eye on because this pit road is not easy to get on. It's a very awkward pit road to try and get on. I think I'd say probably the only one that's about as difficult as this pit road entry is Dover. Just because of the fact of how fast you're going into turn 3 and how much you have to slow down. I mean, the pit road speeds are so slow at over, but the awkwardness entry that is at this track is something that's going to have to keep an eye on as we get closer to green flag pit stops.
I might start seeing them already. I think the 4 car and the 63 were both on pit road that last lap.
There he is. 63 is on pit road. Strategy call for sure. Obviously, the last time around that he was running on older tires, he got pretty loose, so maybe he wants to try something different here.
I see some more damage on that right side, too.
Yeah.
4 is back on pit road.
Yep.
Must be fixing that front end.
Josh Silva in the 3. It's a great looking car there. You know, we haven't talked too much about schemes. We mentioned, obviously, the Sim Helper guys. All 3 of their schemes looking pretty good. But the 3 car, he runs the scheme pretty much every week that we've seen in the Xfinity cars.
Stacker 2 is really good scheme. I think it's Stacker 2, right?
Yeah, it sure is.
And Josh, I'm not sure how much you talk about him, but he's one of those consistent drivers. He's smooth. May not have the fastest car out there, but smooth. Completes all the laps, and that's a big part of getting good points each week.
Exactly. As we saw Jake get really loose off of 4 there. Was lost it, buried it in the inside wall, but was able to save it. You know, I think that Jake, although he's running 7th and he's on the lead lap, this has just not been his season for sure. He still obviously has a chance to make the chase. He's definitely not out of it, but even tonight, I think he was really hoping for a bit of a better run. We saw him up towards the top 5, top 3 even, earlier on this race, but he's fallen back to 7th and just cannot seem to have the speed that the guys ahead of him have.
And you'll be hard-pressed to find anyone that's got the speed at that 33 right now.
As, the 02 just barely kisses that wall again.
Now, a couple of those that'll knock the speed out of that car anyway. What speed these drivers do have. A couple of those stripes, as they call it, knock the speed right out.
Yeah. So now Colton is closing in on Jay Countshill now. Roth loads back. Oh, and the 02 hits the wall again. Just cannot seem to get this car off the wall as the one is really closed in hard on him. Might have seen a battle here for 7th.
This is where Colton's just got to be patient. He knows he's faster right now. Just let Jake gather this car up and then pick your run.
Colton able to close in on him on the entry here, and
Jake is sliding that rear.
Yeah, he's really loose.
There's your run.
Jake seems to have the same problem that we saw with the 63. Really loose throughout the corner, and especially coming off the corner, and that allows Colton to go on by. Let's see if Jake can come back here. It's just the 1 car gets a much better run off the corner than the 02 does. Seems like he's able to keep that car a bit more stable.
It's just a part of missing the missing where you pick up the throttle.
Yep. We talked about Josh Silva earlier. How about Nick Seraph? You know, he's ran all the laps this season pretty much. He's had some problems throughout the year. Gotten into some wrecks. A lot of them, honestly, not really his fault. Just a lot of happened circumstance. But that 523, right now running P13. He has 3 laps down. A lot of that is, I think he may have had some issues of some sorts here, and that's why he's 3 laps down. But all in all, the car is pretty clean. He does have some right side damage. I think he's just really playing it safe right now.
Yeah, and that's what some of these guys want to do until they get towards the end of the race. Keep their car intact. With Nick, though, he did have a rough start to the year. Involved in wrecks. Not great finishes, but as the last 3 or 4 races here, he's run clean, consistent races and put his car where it needs to be to finish the race, finish all the laps he can.
Yeah. See Nick get out of the way of Colt here. He got the wall through 3 and 4. Not too bad. He's really pulled away here. He's now over 3 seconds ahead of Jake Countshill in that 02. Not sure what happened to Jake. It looks like he has even more damage on that right rear. So he may have gotten the wall even more. Man, he
Yeah,
is
he's
really
sliding.
loose.
Yeah, he is sliding that right rear out.
I mean, usually you can't tell just by looking at the car, but you could tell there. I mean, the front tires were all over the place throughout the corner. You can even kind of see it here. I mean, he is fighting that wheel so much.
And you got to use all the racetrack you can here. There's not much to use to begin with, and if you got a loose race car, you can't use probably half of it.
Yep. Possible battle brewing here. Logan wasn't too far. Ooh, man, Anthony really got loose off the corner there.
Wheeling that.
Logan was kind of hanging with P2 of Cooper Johnson there for second place, but he's really fallen off now. He's about 5.5 seconds back from our leader, and these three guys behind Logan have started to kind of catch up to him. Just slowly, methodically, as Josh Silva hits pit road.
The way that they're running, I'm not sure they'll get to him. They're bound to hit the wall here at some point.
Yep. Well, the way that Anthony's running, I mean, he was really loose off of 4 there that last time around, but it'd be interesting to see, because this 86, I almost feel like he's just been kind of putting along. And again, that's his MO. He just kind of, sits back and takes his sweet time on getting through the field and understands that the only lap that matters is that last lap.
That last lap, and there's 114 other ones, so 114 different times he can make a mistake.
Yep.
If he doesn't do that, he'll be near the top at the end.
Exactly. 79 was really slow there. Oh, it looks like he may have destroyed that front end.
The old James Roth and Bocara there.
Yep.
That's tough. If you don't catch that car, then they're sliding. Colton in a wall again.
Yep.
If you don't catch those cars when they're sliding off the corner, you're gone right to the inside.
And here's the thing to keep an eye on. We saw the 63 pit extremely early on in this run. My guess is that it was a attempt to try and get off strategy, possibly try and take advantage of those newer tires, and then he now should possibly try and make it to the end on fuel. I'm not sure if it's a winning strategy, but obviously the way he restarted, he was well back in the field, so it's an attempt to probably try and get as many points as he can. As he closes on the 1 here really quickly, and he'll make quick work of him. Yeah, he extremely close there.
Still sliding it.
Ooh. 63 is still loose coming off those corners, but the one advantage that he does have is with this strategy right now, even if there were to be a caution that comes out, he'd still be that lucky dog and he'd get his lap back. And although he'd have to start from the back, he wouldn't be trapped a lap down. Let's go back through the field here. We talked about guys a lap down. James Goshen still having himself a pretty good run. There's the 00 of Jason Hounshaw.
James is doing exactly what he needs to right now to hold on to that last place spot.
Yep. Ooh, not that though. Don't get in the wall. Just barely kissed it though. It wasn't too bad. It's that commentator's curse. Trust me. The more you're up here in the booth, the more that you'll understand the commentator's curse. James didn't lose too much momentum. It doesn't even look like he lost any ground to Jason behind him. He just barely kissed it just enough to know, hey, that stripe is there. This is what...
Yeah, it looks like Jason's taking his time back there, too. Knowing he's 14 laps down, I think he's just content to ride it out.
Yep. Now, obviously, this is not what James Goshen wants to see, though. Is that 33 closing in on his rearview mirror. Because if he goes 2 laps down, it's going to be a lot more difficult to try and gain some more spots. But the one thing that we need to start keeping an eye on, though, is green flag pit stops. We're 77 laps into this. We only got 115 that we're running. So we're closing in on the end of this race. It's really slow up here.
But the tire fall off here, I would say you could get it done in about 20, depending on when others pit. If you give yourself about 20 laps, if you're short pit by a lot, say the 86 of Stevens comes in now. I think John could run this to about lap 95 and still have enough time to catch Brett.
Yeah. And as you mentioned earlier, I mean, the tire fall off in this is insane. So you don't want to spend too much time. Like, obviously, John has a giant advantage. He's now almost 5 seconds ahead of second place again. So John is kind of I believe, the outlier in this scenario. But to everybody else, second on back, you don't want to spend too much time on track compared to everybody else. Because once that first guy comes down, everybody else is going to follow him just because of how much time you do lose on older tires here.
Right, and that's where it's whether you want to be on offense or defense. That's what I mean with that 20 laps. 20 laps to make it up. I think playing offense, you still have about 20 laps to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If people undercut that pit stop, if you're any shorter than 20 laps, I think you're gonna be beat by those undercuts.
A bit farther back here. Tyler Barnett has really fallen back from these two guys, Brett Stevens and Anthony Guarneri, but Brett is kind of closing in on the 16. We might be seeing a battle here.
Yeah, Brett's being patient, setting up that run. You can see him back off if he doesn't like where he's at.
A bit farther back. Well, James Roth has got that front end fixed at least. He is, although 9 laps down, but he's still out there running and giving it his best shot right now.
Yeah, and there's still a position there that he's fighting for. Silva on the same lap as him.
Mm-hmm. Let's get back up to that 16 in the 86 here. You know, something else I haven't mentioned yet, though, with the pit strategy is, you know, this isn't going to be a full fuel run. So you're not running even 50, 60 laps on these tires. Ooh, man, that 16 was pretty loose off 4 there again. This is going to give the 86 a possible shot of getting up to him. But do you think, I mean, Hank, if you're in the situation of, let's say, Tyler Barnett or Anthony Guarneri, do you even think about taking 2 tires to try and gain some more spots here?
Have you seen the 16 off of turn 4 lately?
Maybe not Anthony Guarneri, as James Goshen hits pit road this time.
I
But
don't
maybe
think any of these guys want 2 tires.
Gotcha. It is a possibility. Somebody might think about taking 2 tires here. We'll have to keep an eye on pit road time at the bottom of the screen here. See if anybody has a 7-second stop versus a 13 or 14-second stop.
Other places, I think you can try that strategy. It may work, but this one, this place just grates tires. So even your left sides will be chewed up.
There's 14 of Cooper Johnson. He's now almost 7 seconds back from John Whitendorf. I mean, we haven't really talked too much about the front runners just because of the fact that they've just had so much distance between everybody else. I mean, John Whitendorf,
Yeah.
as we noted, he's led all 83, closing on an 84 laps.
They're just
this
not fun
entire
to
race.
watch at this point.
Yeah.
A battle for third, fourth is pretty telling.
Oh, Anthony gets the wall again.
This might be where Brett backed out again.
See that 63 starting to close in. And that'll be the interesting part is obviously Hank Steinmiller on these fresher tires has gained loads and loads of time on all these guys. And he still continues to do so. But what'll be interesting is these guys who are staying out in these older tires, they're only giving Hank Steinmiller more and more time back because they are on these older tires.
So I think that lap 90 to 95 mark, if they don't pit by then, it could shake up the finishing order here.
Mm-hmm. Hank Steinmiller makes the pass on Anthony Guarneri. Guarneri's still holding strong on Brett Stevens, though, for P4. There's Tyler Barnett. He kind of dropped back a little bit, but still Tyler has had himself a great run here tonight in that Taco Bell 26.
Looks like he's kept the tires on a little bit better this run.
Yeah.
He's not as far back, hasn't fallen as far back off the group he was running with.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we finally have our first pit stops here. The 99 hitting pit road. That's Logan Monteith. He chooses to come down.
Looks like he's following the 33. John already pit there, lap 88. See, I
Yep.
think that gives him plenty of time to make up the undercut if they're, I guess he's undercutting everyone else, but
Yep. So 523 comes off of pit road. John Wettendorf will come onto pit road. So we see the 33, the 99, and the 16. They all chose to come down this time by. There's the two teammates hitting pit road. Colton has also came down.
Yep.
Yep.
Cooper stayed out to lead the lap, which is something he loves to do.
Yep. That 14 needs to get a couple of laps led here in this time by. Be interesting, though, to see how long this 14 chooses to stay out.
This will be that offense-defense game.
Exactly.
It's tough to play when you were already, what was that lead, 7 or 8 seconds by the time John pit?
Oh, yeah. Giant lead.
It's an easier game to play if you're within 2 or 3, but I don't know that there's much of a game plan for an 8-second gap.
Mm-hmm. So now we saw Brett Stevens and Tyler Burnett. They also came down last time by. So they came down pit road. So now the 14. Ooh, man. A little bit loose on the entry there. But the 14, after getting a couple laps led, he will now come down pit road. And that will give the lead back to John Weitendorf next time by around. Or actually, Hank Steinmiller right now is currently the leader. And the 33 goes by pretty quickly here. Yep. Those fresher tires are just such an advantage, though. So now this time by, it will give John Weitendorf the lead back. Hank Steinmiller will now be P2.
You can see how quickly or how much ground that does give even after a 10-lap run. The new tires, I believe the 63 is about 13 seconds off the leader when he pit.
Yep. Now, there's something to keep an eye on here. Is the 14 here did choose to take 2 tires. His stop was only about 9 seconds. So not obviously as fast as he wanted for a 2-tire stop, but it looked like he did only take 2 tires here to try and gain a little bit more track time on John. Obviously it won't work because John is just driven away from him.
Looks like the strategy only netted about 1.5 seconds on track so far. Yeah. But what are the tires and the lap times gonna say?
That'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. Jose goes by the 4 of James Roth. You know, we talked about paint schemes. I do like this 4-car James Roth paint scheme. The Superman on the front there.
Dale Jr. throwback.
Mm-hmm.
We got another Dale Jr. throwback in here, too, on the 1-car.
Yep. 4 barely gets the wall here as here comes the 14.
Looks like the gap's holding for now.
Yep. Ooh. 4-car kind of came down the track a little bit, but then thought better of it. Oh, and now he just pounded the wall.
Tough place.
Yeah, it's so difficult.
If you're on the bottom, you can't get the right angle off the corner. If you're on the top, you can't turn down to get off the corner, so neither of them can.
Back here, this is P4 at the moment. Anthony Guarneri running P5. Brett Stevens has got a little bit of space between him and Anthony Guarneri now. They've only got 22 laps to go, so if Brett wants to kind of make up a couple more spots here, he might have to change the strategy of hanging back and get a little bit aggressive here. Josh Silva, there's Tyler Burnett. Not sure what happened to Tyler Burnett, though. He lost a ton, and I mean a ton of time on pit road. Not sure if he missed his pit stop, drove through his pit stop on accident, or...
I missed pit road the first time by.
Oh.
I wonder if that might be the case there.
That is also another possibility because now, he's is that 14 seconds back from Brett Stevens.
Yeah, and he was right with that group.
Yeah. I mean, we got 20 laps to go. Colton, for how far back Tyler Burnett fell, it's only about 3.5 seconds. I mean, there's a good possibility that Colton could try and run down this 26 car by the end of the run. I mean, we talked about Tyler Burnett not being great at the end of runs on these tires. I mean, 20 laps isn't obviously a full tire run, but it may be just enough to give Colton a shot.
Might be. It looks to be about stagnant right now.
Mm-hmm. Jake Hounshell, unfortunately, he went a lap down. There's now only 8 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Jake is the first one a lap down. Jose Medina is also a lap down. He's P10. Johnson was also able to make the pass on the 63 of Hank Steinmiller. Those new tires are really starting to play a factor now. Steinmiller is now 10 seconds back, and he might be losing some more spots here.
Full on free fall.
Yep. So here comes that 99, 16, and 86. So they all close in on Jason Hounshell here. Looks like Jason will bow out and get out of the way as, man, that 16 was loose coming into the corner there as well. We've seen the 16 loose off the corners, but man, he was loose in the corner. So now that's 63. That's the other side of the coin of coming in extremely early. I mean, oh man, that's a lot of spots that he just lost right there in one corner. All the way down to P6 now. So the strategy did net him a couple of positions right now if he's able to hang on to 6th, but isn't going to get him a top 5 at least today.
See just how bad those tires are after this, or after the early pit stop. There's a 13-second gap to 7th place right now.
Yeah.
It looks like up front the strategy calls pretty much a net zero right now on the 14's behalf.
Mm-hmm. Down now behind about 8 seconds back to our leader, so it's going to take John Weitendorf making a catastrophic mistake in order to lose this one, but
Absolutely.
14, although with those 2 tires, he's been able to hold on all right so far. I mean, he's still got himself a decent gap back to Logan to hold on to 2nd.
This is the best battle on the track. It has been the best battle of the race.
Yeah.
Whole night.
These 3 guys have really stuck arm in arm within each other.
I haven't seen a whole lot of wall scrapes from any of them either.
Mm-hmm. Sim helper guys constantly battling each other all throughout the race. Man, it kind of seems like the 16 is still really loose, even entering the corners now, not only just coming off the corners. Brett's trying to get a run here on the 16. He might look for it here.
It's now Brett's time.
Brett backed out that time, at least. 13 to go right now in the race. Still only 8 cars on the lead lap. 16th on back, unfortunately, out of the race. Shepard, Caro, Guerrera, and the 81 and the 6 of Dave Grajewski. All those guys officially out of the race. Jason Hounshell, who we now know had some technical issues, and that's why he ended up having to get off the track and unfortunately lost a ton of time. He's 15 laps down. Josh Silva, he's
another run here.
Yep. See if we can try and complete the pass this time into 1. Ooh, extremely tight. Almost got into him there that time. He had to back out. He's going to lose a ton of time, though, to the 16.
It's the toughest place to make that pass.
I mean, it's definitely...
Passing zone is in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, you better have a run that you're going to clear them in.
Mm-hmm. 86. Yeah, that could have cost a ton of time for both those guys. It could have caused a caution there if they didn't if Brett didn't back out there. So a smart move by the 86 to back out of there and charge up for another run here that it looks like he's doing. He's already well
Yeah, and
caught up
he's
to the 16
faster.
again.
It was the smart move to play. He is much faster than the 16 right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just finding that run at the right time. Where is he gonna find it?
He's may have a run here, may not.
He learned his lesson here.
Yeah, he's gonna follow him through 1 and 2 this time.
Yeah, let's see how much he can back up this corner. We'll have a run. Will it be enough?
He backed out again.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
Brett is a very patient driver, so he knows and understands, hey, I got 9 laps to go. I got 9 laps to pass this 16 car. And he knows and understands he is much faster than him right now. I mean, for how much time and momentum that he lost there is kind of sound like the 99 may have gotten the wall there. Didn't lose any time. 86 is going to try another run here. Maybe not, and he backs out again.
It's a good battle. 16's taking away the preferred line, and Brett's got to get that run as good as he can.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's going to make that turn 1 move again.
Well, like you said, I think he learned his lesson that time where he almost caused a caution between the two of them for how close they were getting into one. Oh, man, he's going to loose.
Got to throw it in there.
Brett is a very patient driver. Is he going to be very patient here through coming off of 4? Man, the 16 almost lost it again this time. 86 to the top side. Nick Seraph is in the way. Finally, the pass that the 86 wanted to make, he finally gets to P4 now.
Yeah, the pressure he put on the 16 there, 16. I mean, Anthony's been sideways all night, and the further you push that, the further sideways it's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does Brett match up against Logan?
Now he's only got about 5 to 6 laps to catch him. Looks like it's 6 to go this time, but
Have to be better than a 10th lap there.
mm-hmm. Something else to keep an eye on here. Let's go a little bit farther back. The 63, we know that he lost a ton of time. There is somebody starting to come here. He's about 5 laps to go. This 26 that Tyler Burnett is starting to track him down. It looks like Colton was not able to catch the 26. Kind of fell back a little bit and obviously doesn't have enough time to catch him, but that'll be something to keep an eye on here. He's about closing in and about 2 seconds back, and obviously the 63 car is on well older tires.
Yeah, he just wants this race to end.
That 16 lost a ton of time to that 86, and that 86 is now starting to track down this 99. I mean, this
Brett's got a knack for finishing third, just as James Roth has one for 10th.
Exactly, yeah.
Speak of the devil.
Yep. Starting to catch lap car James Roth in the 4. This will allow Brett to probably maybe... Oh, man, that was not what Logan wanted. Kind of looked like he held him up there a little bit. They kind of got a little bit confused on which line that Logan wanted. This
Yeah, best thing to do as a lap car there is just hold your line. Let the lead lap cars find their way around. If you're not already out of the way, just hold your line.
Mm-hmm. 3 laps to go between these two guys. This is a battle for third right now. Logan Monteith in the 99 Sim Helper car. And the 86 is Brett Stevens with the iRacing sponsor.
I do think, going back to that, I do think James did the correct thing. He held his line as long as he could. I guess, I mean, realistically, what he should have done is stay there. If Logan didn't want to make the pass, he wasn't going to. But
Update on Tyler Burnett. He was able to get by Hank Steinmiller for P6. That'll drop Hank Steinmiller to the last car in the lead lap, P7. Brett's going to try for a move here down the backstretch on the 99.
crossover going, he's got a good run.
He's
He
going to
just doesn't
back
want
out,
to dive.
though.
Yeah, doesn't want to dive it into 3 and 4. See if he'll do it on the last lap.
Yep. This is the final lap for these guys. So as Brett and Logan battle here, coming off of 4, John Whitendorf as, a spin from the 63. John Whitendorf will come across the line with his 4th straight win in a row.
Looks like Logan is going to hold off Brett.
And Logan will hold off Brett Stevens for P3. Anthony Guarnieri will come home P4. And Hank Steinmiller actually he ended up going a lap down. So he still hasn't finished the race after he spun out there coming across the line.
I think it might have finished him as he was spinning. As John put him down, he's the next car to pass. Although I'm not sure John did put him a lap down. I'm not sure. It was an odd sequence there.
At 63, it looks like he's still going to try and at least complete the lap here. Scoring has not counted him as finished yet, and so now he will complete the race. As the 33 does burnouts for the 4th straight week in a row, this time at Darlington.
No stopping him.
No stopping him at all. This 33 has dominated the last 4 weeks. A straight month of domination, winning all 4 races. John Whitendorf has just trumped everyone in this league for the last 4 weeks. We came into this week asking, well, is there anybody that can stop this 33? And, well, tonight he just decided to dominate the entire field, leading almost every single lap. As he continues to do burnout here.
Led every competitive lap. The only ones that he didn't lead were on the pit cycle, obviously.
Mm-hmm. As everybody else does their celebratory wreck fest after the end of the race, John Whitendorf will continue to celebrate, and we'll go ahead and take a look at our final results. Final results for tonight's race here at Darlington. John Whitendorf wins his 4th straight race in a row by about 10 seconds over Cooper Johnson for 2nd place. Logan Monteith will come home P3, just ahead of Brett Stevens there in P4. Anthony Guarnieri will have himself a top 5 here tonight in P5. Tyler Barnett comes home P6 after having a pretty decent run for him. Hank Steinmiller will come home P7. It will count him as the first car a lap down. Not sure if he actually did go a lap down, but he comes home P7. Colton in that number 1 car, he comes home P8. Jake Hounshell P9, and Jose Medina will round out the top 10 here tonight. James Goshen comes home P11. Nick Seraph ended up getting up to P12. A great run for him. He was a little bit farther back. He was able to gain him a couple more spots there. He gets to P12. James Roth comes home P13. Josh Silva, Jason Hounshell, obviously with the connection issues. Unfortunate for him, he comes home P15. Casey Shepard comes home P16. Bo Caro, Andre Guerrera in P18. And the final 2 spots, P19 is the 81 car there of Brandon, and Dade Krajewski rounds out the field 104 laps down in P20. Obviously not how some of those guys wanted to finish the race, but unfortunate for them. Obviously, great one for John here tonight as he continues to do a burnout. Let's go ahead and take a look at the point standings here really quick before we end tonight's broadcast. So here are the current point standings heading into the final race of the regular season. So unfortunately, as we were informed, John Whitendorf is not going to be able to be a part of the chase, which is extremely disappointing considering the fact that he has won the last 4 races. Due to personal issues, he will not be able to make the chase. So we are unfortunately not able to count him for the chase, unfortunately for him. But we have our top 5 of the chase locked in there. You can see in yellow, Logan Monteith is now the new top points getter right now at 224, but not too far behind for that top spot. Hank Steinmiller sitting P2, and Colton in the 1 car sitting P3. Cooper Johnson and Jason Hounshell after tonight's run, even with Jason Hounshell's problems of having connection issues and obviously not having the type of run that he wanted, he is now locked in on points mathematically. So that top 5 is locked in on points, but as you can see there in green, Seth Harlson did not show up tonight here at Darlington. James Goshen and Jose Medina, those guys are technically in the top 8 for the chase now, with John Whitendorf's and unable to make the chase. Those guys are right now in the top 8, but they're not locked in on points. So New Hampshire next week with the Cup cars for that 8th race is going to be extremely interesting. And as you can see, it's not that big of a gap between Jose Medina, Jay Council, and even Anthony Guarneri. And Anthony Guarneri was able to, he unfortunately missed a race earlier on in the season as well, and he's still mathematically able to try and points his way in, but he'll need a pretty good run next week. Hank, for you, is there anybody on the cut line, outside the cut line? Obviously Dave Carpenter, unfortunately, will not be able to try and points his way, and he's mathematically out of the points, and everybody else in white is out of the points below them. But anybody on that cutoff line that you could see having a pretty good run next week at New Hampshire and possibly taking a spot away from Jose Medina or James Goshen or even Seth Harrelson if he has some problems next week and he maybe missed the chase? Anybody that piques your interest there?
I think any of those three can make it right there on the cut line. I mean, 5 points separating them. I'm interested to see that battle. That'll be fierce, especially coming down to the last few laps there. And even the points battle for the number 1 seed in the playoffs. You got the top 3 separated by 2 points. You got 2 good battles, and then um, we'll see how that does shake out.
For sure. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye on Jay Council. I know we mentioned earlier on he has not had the season that he has wanted at all, but he is right there on that cutoff line. He still has a possibility of making the top 8 in the chase. It'll be interesting to see the 2 Hound Show Racing teammates battle it out next week at New Hampshire. So thank you to everybody who tuned in the broadcast. Hope you all enjoyed tonight. Obviously, thanks to Hank for stopping by. We'll hopefully have him in more often throughout even the rest of the season and future races as well. Thanks to everybody again for hoping you guys enjoyed the Southern 115 here for the Juicebox Racing League. Next week, we will be at New Hampshire Motor Speedway with the Cup cars. It'll be definitely a very interesting race as it'll be the final race in the regular season before we get into that 4-race chase to determine our champion at the end of the season. So again, thank you to everybody who stopped by and joined. Hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you all next week.